Simply Celebrate moment just trying to get us live to say hi to everyone, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been a Simply Celebrate moment, and we're celebrating it. It's been hilarious, right?
We
I-
are. Stacy, before any other ado, this is Stacy, and Stacy, tell us about frolicking, please.
oh, I would love to. Frolicking is something that has been a part of my work since the beginning, about 7 years ago. And it's been a long time, in the spirit of full disclosure, that we've done a frolic. We've been on any frolicking on live Facebook. But back in the day, do you guys remember Google Hangouts? Like that was the new technology like 7 or 8 years ago. And I came up with this great idea to complement my relationship platform of helping people just have some fun. Like, my goodness, right? We get so stale in meeting all our responsibilities and being so adult like, right? And it's a good thing. I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying there has to become a point in time where we kind of create some novelty and some moments that like give us that contrast we need to say, yes, life is great. And so I decided to come up with these things I call frolics. And they're just little simple things that we can do in our homes. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to really create much, and you can create a moment that is different than your everyday moment by moment same old life, right? Especially in long-term relationships, that's really where the breakdown comes about, is we just don't have any contrast with which to, right, talk about this or have a new experience or something that moves us so that we can express ourselves in new ways. So something as simple as like hanging upside down on the couch and having a conversation upside down, right? We'll do it. We just need something to shake things up a little bit. So that was the concept and the idea behind the frolics. And honestly, I haven't done one. But Sherry, you've come into my life and you've inspired me to do things I haven't done or never done in a long time. So thank you.
I love it. I love it. And what you just said, I don't know if you know this, but it's the very first book that I wrote was called Simply Celebrate. And it was about turning everyday life, turning ordinary days into an extraordinary life. And what you're talking about relationships, especially, is that movement, right? It's that movement from here we are doing the same things we always do. And I've heard you say this a few times with relationships, that you need some contrast, you need something. And if we're in that sort of rut, I love what you just said, like hang upside down and have a conversation, or, just run barefoot out in the yard. It doesn't matter really. The point is to do something new, right?
Yes, to shake it up a little bit, because then, okay, then we're going to talk about how silly that was. We're going to talk about how fun that was. We're going to probably giggle and laugh for a minute, which puts us in a whole nother experience. And now we have something to talk about.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, right. And what I just saw when you said that is that it's a we, right? I'm just going to use that. It's raining outside. If you were here and you and I ran outside in our bare feet, we would be experiencing something together.
Yes.
That is silly. Like you said, it's silly, but it's an us moment. And that itself is the movement, right?
Absolutely. Well, and a lot of people don't understand the simple concept of how relationships work, which is where what creates connection between you and I, even Sherry, right? And even between our lovers and our kids, is I share a little piece of me with you, and you share a little piece of you with me. And so when we do we're having an experience that we get to share together. But what's so delightful is that we're having a different interpretation or experience and our contrast about that. That's what helps us share, right? That's where we're like, oh my gosh, how did that work for you? Oh, I loved it when my feet were wet. And somebody said, oh my gosh, that felt so great on my face, right? Those are the things that create the something that we get to share about. So yes, we're co-creating a moment. But the thing that's so beautiful about us as human beings is we're all having a different experience of it. And that's what gives us the stuff to share.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
I love this. And, just a tiny bit of background, because we just sort of hopped into this Facebook Live. This is the thing. We're actually having a meta moment, aren't we? The two of us.
We are.
Because we're just like, all right, let's hop on Facebook Live.
Let's do it.
And it's like, oh my gosh, my feet are wet. What's going on for you, right? I think that's we're having that.
Yes. It's truly happening as we're speaking. No joke.
To back up a moment, so you and I were just having a conversation about relationships and about bringing play, right? And the importance of play in relationship and the importance of celebration. And you were telling me about this wonderful thing that you created called Frolics. And I wanted to share it with people because I love it. And you know, you have a very specific frolic in mind for this Friday, don't you?
I do.
So let's just, without further ado, let's bring that out and see what people think.
All right, that sounds good. So this particular frolic, we used to do these Fridays at 4 for 45. We used to call them FFFs. And Sherry's inspired us to kind of like share this idea together and maybe co-create some in the future. So make sure that if you like this, you let us know. Yeah. And Sherry will put her heads together. Sherry and I will put our heads together and we'll co-create some fun stuff for you. The idea behind them, though, is that you're inspired to create some simple ways to create these moments inside of your life. We all talk about these moments that matter, but unless we get intentional about creating them, we're left to just them falling into our laps, which unfortunately doesn't happen very often for most of us. And so we don't realize that we have the power within us to create them. So this particular frolic comes from a place or a framework in my body of work I call fairy dust. Now, I call it fairy dust because I want you to remember it. I want you to understand how important it is. And fairy dust is simply 3 things that we as human beings need to have or that we long for. In fact, we'll go to war for them. We'll go to blows for them. We'll fight for them because we need them so desperately. The first one is I need to feel like you hear me, that I'm heard, okay? That my perspective and the way I see the world, the way I see the situation or the circumstance is important. At least it's valid, right? The second one is that I'm appreciated, that this unique place I come to in the world is appreciated. And the last one is that I matter, that the position that I hold in my life and in our relationship matters to you, right? Oh, we want to matter so much. So in acknowledgement is fairy dust in that I can simply say, and knowing those things, it gives me a leg up. I can say, gosh, before we have this conversation, right, that I know might challenge us, I just want you to know I love you, I appreciate you, and you matter so much to me, right? So it's fairy dust, right? It's like, okay, now I'm open, now I feel safe, now I can kind of settle in. All right, I want to hear what you have to say, right? So we can use it on the front end of difficult conversations. We can use it in the middle of conflict. Tom hates it when I do this, and all of a sudden I'll catch us like sliding off into what I call the weeds, and I'll go, babe, you're really sexy right now. And he'll go, stop it right now. This is important. Right? Right? You matter to me. And don't forget that. I know we're in the throes of it right now, but don't forget why we're here. We care. So this frolic was designed around the principle of fairy dust, and it's called an acknowledgement ceremony. And it's really simple. There's no extra purchases. There's nowhere you got to go. The concept is this. You walk around your room, right, or your home, and you find some things that make you think about that special person in your life, right? In this particular context, we're going to talk about it as your partner. But you could do this honestly for kids or friends, right? You're going to go around your home, and for your lover, you're going to find some things that remind you of them. And it could be common everyday things like an orange, right? Maybe you enjoy making breakfast for them, right? Maybe you love orange juice together, or maybe you have a particular place that you go and have orange juice that's fresh squeezed, right? Maybe you have some memories about that. And just anything that makes you think about those things that you appreciate and want to acknowledge about your partner that are meaningful to you from your perspective. And you wrap those things up, and you literally create a moment where for 30 minutes, we're going to create a special place where we feel safe and we're uninterrupted. We can create it on the living room floor. We can create it in our bedroom. We can create it outside under the tree. It doesn't really matter, just a place that's meaningful for you. Get your favorite beverage. Take these everyday items, wrap them up, right? Make them special, right? Put them in some, it doesn't matter if it's tissue paper. It doesn't matter if it's a paper bag. I mean, whatever you've got, Christmas wrap, and it's Easter. Who cares? It doesn't even matter, right? And then you take this accumulation of things that both of you have chosen, and you put them in the center. And then you each take turns picking one out of the middle, right? So I'm going to know which ones are for me, and my lover is going to know which ones are for him. And as they open them, right? For me, I'll just give a personal example. I remember opening up this ground coffee and thinking, you as the receiver going, now, wait a minute, right? What does it have to do with me? That's part of the fun of it, right? It's the novelty of it. And your Tom, my partner, would say, babe, the reason why I picked this to acknowledge you is because since you've come into my life, I've acquired a passion for coffee. And I love that we share that. And I love that we go get coffee in the mornings to share
Oh.
on. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate about that special thing you brought into my life. Okay. I promise you, if you do this, time you get done, you're going to realize things about yourself you didn't know. You're going to feel seen. You're going to feel like you matter, that you are appreciated, that you are
Wow.
heard. Right. And then it changes roles, right? Tom's going to pick a gift that I put together for him, and so on it goes. Go through 3 or 5 of them. Right. And the amazing thing that happens is you feel this sense of feeling seen and connection. And
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. So that's why we created the Frolic, which we are so excited to share, right? And you can get it by going to stacibartley.com/frolic, FROLIC, and you can get it for free. Download it. It's all put in a wonderful step-by-step. You do this first, second, third, fourth.
Oh,
Just
Staci, give that. Actually, here, let me type it in while you're talking.
okay, perfect.
ACI.
Yeah, Bartley, BARTLEY /frolic, FROLIC.
Staci Bartley /frolic.com.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you've actually created something that people can follow, because that just makes it even more fun, right? It makes it sort of an official sort of to do.
Yes. Well, and I love, put your creative spin on it, right? Find a place that matters to you. Add whatever spring you could put twinkle lights. I mean, there's a million things. You can make it as elaborate or as simplistic as you feel inspired to do in the moment. The important part is that you do it, right? And like your book, Sherry, that I love so much and that I give to all my clients is a graduation gift from our Love for a Lifetime program, is that it makes it doable and simple, but we still have to, as individuals, push past the inertia and the fear, because we have all this stuff that comes up like, oh, I'm touchy-feely, or I'm not creative, or that's going to take too much time, or that's too expensive. And the idea behind these, and you correct me if I'm wrong in your book too, is no, they don't have to be any of those things. So don't let that stop you. Just try one, right?
Right. And I really appreciate, I'm so glad we actually, I thought, who knows if we really are live, but it seems like we are. But I appreciate that, that you would share this idea, because again, what I love is that it's just all in our house, right? And that there's something about, I love elevating the ordinary. And so I love this idea of whatever it is that I find that reminds me of the person I love, we're framing it, we're elevating it, and we're using it as a mirror for them, right? We're using it as a mirror to say, I know this just looks like an orange, but when I see this orange, I think about that story of the time, I spilled the orange juice and, we were cracking up or whatever,
Yes.
It's so much about the relationship. Mm-hmm. And it's so beautiful and it's fun. I mean, I've not done it, but it sounds fun.
It is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it is fun, and I can't wait to hear about your experience. And see, that's the other thing that we can do as human beings, right? Everybody's going to have their own unique experience, which is such a beautiful, delightful thing. And then that takes on, right, even more energy and possibility as we get inspired by other people's ideas and what they came up with and how they put it together. And so, I'm going to encourage you that if you embrace this, which we hope you will, right? Like push past your inertia. I'm trying to do, and Sherry, I know you do too. I'm trying to do everything I can to inspire you to just try it. Just try it on, right? That's what we all have to do, is push past this fear. But if you do, then celebrate it for yourself. Acknowledge yourself for pushing past maybe some inertia initially, right? And then as you share it, you anchor that in for yourself and you inspire the rest of us. And we go, oh, that was such a great idea. Oh my God, that's amazing. So I'm going to encourage you to share it, whatever parts you feel comfortable with. Here are the things that I chose and here's how I laid it out and I did it. Maybe it's just that I did it. Whatever you want to celebrate with us would be incredible. And whatever it is will inspire us. Let's just face it, right? We never want to be the first one out on the dance floor. Right. But when some people start having fun on the dance floor, we go, oh, that looks pretty. Okay. All right. I'm going to jump in. Right.
Right.
So we're gonna go first. We've created this frolic for you, and we're just gonna encourage you to kind of come back out on the dance floor with us and try out this acknowledgement ceremony that I promise will contribute great things to your relationship and to your life. And then share it so we can kind of keep it going.
Two things I want to say, Staci. One is that most certainly it might be uncomfortable, right? And I always say this about my own work, and I know you do too, that it's like there's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. There's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. I just told you the story about wearing hats, right? So for me, when I wanted to be a woman who wore hats, and it was really uncomfortable when I first wore them. But so what, right? We just push.
Well, here's the thing. Is everything we really want and desire is on the other side of uncomfortable. So if we're going to stay safe, you're going to feel safe. But unfortunately, our lives and our experiences start to shrink, right? Yeah. And there's a reason for that we won't go into today, right? Those are all principles that I love to teach. So that you can understand why there's fear and insecurity in our lives, right? They're not just a nemesis. They're actually here to help us become who we are truly meant to be, right? They help us develop ourselves. And so we must, because everything we want and desire and that is possible and that we're capable of as human beings is on the other side of that.
I love that. The other thing I wanted to say that dropped in, and I hope this is okay that I sort of build on your idea, but what dropped in for me is that this could also be something that we do. Let's say we're, a best friend is having a birthday gathering, and maybe there's going to be 25 people there. Wouldn't it be fun? Like that could be a really fun thing to bring. Like everybody brings one or two objects from their own home that remind them of their love for this person. And then you go around and share. Like, what a great way to meet people, through their love for this other person.
Oh, that's so incredible. Absolutely. We as a family, for birthdays, right? After we've done, the dinner and blown out the candles, is we've had a tradition for a really long time that's kind of similar to that, where we all go around the table and we acknowledge the person for what we see and admire in them. Right? And what's so cool about that is it's such a part of our family now. I can't tell you how precious it is to see a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 6-year-old acknowledge their brother and sister or their mother or their father. They are so perfect for it because they just speak from their little hearts. And so it teaches them to express who they are and how they feel about this person. But I tell you what, I've gotten some very precious acknowledgments from this practice. My cute little kids and grandkids. It's always just a wonderful thing. And what's so fun is the kids are like, hey, we're not going to miss that, right? Right. I mean, I know we're not going to get together until next week and my birthday was tomorrow, but we're going to do that thing, right? Kids totally get it. I can't wait to go around the circle and it's my turn.
So that's another thing to offer, right? And it doesn't have to wait for a birthday or a special occasion. It could be tonight at dinner. This could be another way to do a little twist on the frolic is tonight at dinner, you raise a glass at the end of dinner and say, here's what we're going to do now. And everybody joins in.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that I love about your work too, right? Every time I talk to you, I feel like there's just these beautiful ideas about creating magical, meaningful moments in our lives. And I think that's what we want. I know everyone's doing a lot of shopping right now, and that's fine. But really, isn't this what we want?
Yes. Yes. We all want to feel more connected to the people that we love.
Yeah.
And I would add to that, connected to ourselves, right? Yeah. That I can honor and acknowledge and accept and share, express the things that I find to be near and dear to my heart. And that's the way I feel seen. Yeah. That's the way I honor myself. So this acknowledgement ceremony is not only powerful for the people that are hearing it, but it's also powerful for the person who's sharing it, because you're honoring yourself. You're expressing who you truly
Yes.
are. So it has this beautiful effect there.
Here, I just got excited about another twist. Is that okay?
Yes, please add to it, right?
Well, so what I was thinking is, if somebody happens to see this, whether it's today or tomorrow or a week from now, or we post it somewhere, and you live by yourself, maybe you don't have a partner. Well, what if you walked around your house and gathered 5 objects that really show you parts of yourself that you love and admire, and you told those stories to yourself, right? Like, that would be really fun. What do we choose? Why do we choose it?
Well, and just to honor and acknowledge yourself. Maybe you could create a special little place where you honor yourself and acknowledge yourself, and you put those as physical anchors to remind you of your incredible, unique gifts and the things that you love about yourself the most, and the things that you're shooting for, right? The things, the places that you want to become, right?
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful idea.
Yeah. I mean, this is what's so wonderful about your frolic, right? That it's like, it doesn't have to look just exactly like how it's first outlined. We can, as everything that you talk about, we make things our own. We bring whatever that essence of, that works for me. Maybe I do it with my dog. Maybe I do it with my mom. Maybe I do it by myself. I do it. There's endless possibilities. But the point is to do it, to create, that moment in time where we're actually stopping to celebrate. That's
and acknowledge, right? Acknowledge.
Yeah.
Something else you can do is just capping on what you're talking about as far as acknowledging yourself, right? Is making a list of 25 reasons why I am amazing, why I am unique. And I can write those down. And when I'm feeling like I'm less than, I can go back and I can find that list and I can read through it, and then put some physical anchors to it so that it's in your space to remind me, right?
Yes.
Is for everyone, and we all need it, right? Remember those 3 principles. We love to be heard, we love to be appreciated, and we need to feel like we matter to someone, and that someone can be you.
Yeah.
That someone can absolutely be you.
And in fact, I believe it always should start there, right? That's where it starts. And I love, my whole love list, and a lot of people listening know about the love list. And I had someone who, one time when I was doing a workshop, she made one for herself, and we coined the term love list selfie, which I love, right? Like, so, make a love list selfie. Yeah.
I love that. So guys, let us know if you like this, right? If you want to post and share about your experience, we'd love to hear, because it's just going to inspire all of us. And if you think that Sherry and I should do more of these, let us know, right?
Yeah.
Because I want to. I'll speak for myself.
I'm gonna do it anyway, even if it's just us. I don't care. I'm having so much fun. I mean, for me, that's always right. This is part of the basis of that self-love, right? Like this, it brings me to life. I love your ideas. I love your creativity, and I want to hear more. So let's do it. Let's come back.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
All right. Anything else before we go?
No, we just enjoy it. And I hope that it serves you and sparks your creativity. And Sherry, it's been incredible for you to, I love your creativity as well, and how you take a simple concept like this and you expand it. It's just a unique genius, and I acknowledge you for that. Thank you so much for this time. And again, you can go to stacibartley.com/frolic, and you can get the download to just start the idea. Take it as it is and try it out if that's a stretch for you. And if you want to elaborate and make it your own, please do so. It's all about just finding that place of acknowledgement within inside of yourself and sharing that with others. And so we'll do it again. Let us know how you feel.
Right. Yay! Oh, and I think I put it stacibartley.com/frolic, not stacibartley.frolic.com.
Yeah, stacibartley.com/frolic. Did I screw that up?
No, I did, but I just wanted to. While we're here, I'm just going to fix it, so you can carry on while I'm just making sure.
Yes, my name first.
You got to get the technology. Happy weekend, everyone. Staci, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
It was so much fun. Talk soon.
Bye. Happy frolicking.
Happy frolicking.